Hey, yo, what's the deal? Miss your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag, you know what I mean? As of this recording, it is 3:11 p.m., July 5th, 2026. You know what I mean? This is the first video of the day. You know what I mean? This might, I might, you know what? I might do another video tonight. I don't know, depending how I'm feeling, but we shall see. So I was going to turn this into a discussion video, but I seen some news that I had to break, and I want to give my thoughts, you know, because I think it makes a lot of sense. So I remember making a video last year, right, or sometime early this year about Sheamus, right? And in the video, I had mentioned that I would not be shocked if Sheamus leaves WWE, right? And of course, today news broke, right? That Sheamus is set to leave WWE as per Fightful. Okay, I'm gonna read what the report says via WrestlingNews.co. The report states that Sheamus' WWE contract has expired and he turned down a contract extension. He was not released. Per Fightful, WWE approached Sheamus about a restructured contract while he was out with injury, and he quickly rejected. Because his deal was already set to expire within months, there was no reason for a release, which would have carried a standard 90-day no-compete clause. Fightful does not have a specific expiration date, but reports the departure is happening soon. End quote. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that he's leaving WWE. I mean, fuck. The dude been there for 19 years. Let me drink some water. Hold on. Oh man, it's hot than a motherfucker in this house. The dude's been in WWE for 19 years. Okay? He's accomplished so many things in his career, you know, in his WWE career. Right? What else could you do with Sheamus? What else was Sheamus? What else is there for Sheamus to do? What else was there for him to do? You know what I mean? Like there was nothing for him to do at this point. You know, like he in my personal opinion, I think he ran the mill. You know, he ran the mill already. Like I think with Sheamus, you know, he basically, like, again, there was nothing for him to do. He won multiple championships with the company. You know what I'm saying? Like he did everything that he could, right? Listen, it was definitely time for him to go. It was best for him to fuck it. It was best for him to leave the company, right, and venture out other territories, right, and other opportunities, right. You know, with WWE bringing new talent, I mean, what was there for Sheamus to do at this juncture? What was there? What was there? There was nothing. There was basically nothing for him to do at this point. You know, WWE had no creative plans for Sheamus, right? The dude is 48 years old. I mean, age doesn't matter. You know, age doesn't mean shit in wrestling. But again, dog, like there was nothing for him. He accomplished everything that he could accomplish. I'm gonna run down every fucking thing that he did in WWE. Okay? Everything that he accomplished in the E. Okay? And you'll see why I say that, you know, his time basically was overdue at this point. Over at this point. All right? He was WWE champion 3 times, right? A 1-time World Heavyweight champion. A 3-time United States champion. A Raw Tag Team champion. 4 times he was with Cesaro. He was a 4-time Raw Tag Team champion with Cesaro, right? And a 1-time tag team champion, a SmackDown tag team champion with Cesaro. You know what I mean? He was king of the ring. He won Money in the Bank. He won the Royal Rumble in 2012. I'm shocked he didn't win the Intercontinental Championship. You know what I'm saying? The dude had nothing. He had nothing left. He had absolutely nothing left. Let me drink some water. All right. More water. Again, you know, what the fuck was there for him to do? Okay? There was nothing. there was absolutely nothing for Cesaro. I mean, for Cesaro, for Sheamus to do at this point. Now, I mean, WWE in 2026 with Sheamus, there was nothing there. There's nothing there. And now I'm hearing rumors about, or speculation that he could wind up in AEW, right? And reunite the Bar with Cesaro. I don't know if he'll end up in AEW. I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked. Why would not be shocked? Because AEW likes taking ex-WWE guys, especially WWE champions. Sheamus was a three-time WWE champion. A lot of people seem to forget, and I just read it to you. He was a three-time WWE champion, right? So it's only inevitable that Sheamus Sheamus O'Shaughnessy becomes all elite. And again, WWE is getting ready to bring in fresh talent. They're getting ready to bring in new people, right? So again, where the fuck is the room for Sheamus in 2026? Where is he? A lot of people seem to forget that, with Sheamus, I even forgot that he was still on the roster. I forgot he was injured. You know what I'm saying? Let me look up when was his last match. Let me look up when was his last pro wrestling match. Bear with me for 1 minute. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, I'm back. His last match was actually back on November 17th on Monday Night Raw, where it was him, Rey Mysterio, and John Cena in a six-man against the Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough, right? So, again, Sheamus in 2026 has nothing to offer WWE. He has nothing to offer. You know what I'm saying? And yes, he is a Triple H pet project. Yes, we all know this, right? He's a favorite of Paul Levesque, right? But, again, when you ran your mill for too long, sometimes you got to know, just like the old Kenny Rogers joint, right? You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away. You know what I mean? Like, you got to do that. And Sheamus knew that if he came back, he would be in a much lesser role than what he was already positioned in, right? And I said this before, and I said this not too long ago. I said this a couple moments ago, right? I wouldn't be shocked if he lands at AEW. Maybe he might not go there. I don't know. But let's keep it a stack on something, okay? If he goes to AEW, right? We know how they're going to use him. He's not going to be a big player, right? He'll get buzz, right? But here's the problem, right? He'll get buzz, but he'll probably wind up on Collision. Now, I mean, just like every other ex-WWE guy, right? Tommaso Ciampa, where is he? Collision, right? Where's Claudio Castagnoli, a.k.a. Cesaro? What, Ring of Honor? Collision? Well, mostly Ring of Honor. And people getting hyped about All In. Oh, man, they're going to get the Motor City Machine Guns and Kofi and Austin Creed. Go ahead. Go right ahead. Because again, you're basically taking WWE's you're taking their their nachos and shit. You know what I mean? Like what AEW is going to do is they're basically going to reheat WWE's nachos. That's what they're going to do. They're going to reheat it, right? That's exactly what AEW does, right? They reheat WWE's nachos, right? And the same thing's going to happen with Sheamus. Because again, Sheamus offers nothing at this point. Maybe he might offer some stuff to AEW, right? But I don't see it. I I don't see it. He's not going to TNA. He's definitely not going to no motherfucking TNA. You know what I mean? He's not going to be like Apollo Crews, where Apollo Crews, a.k.a. Oha Nation, is, you know, is over there, right? Again, I wish Sheamus nothing but the best. You know what I mean? Sheamus is a good dude. I definitely like Sheamus. He wasn't one of my favorites. He was good. I will say this, though. I will say this. Okay? I think he could have been booked a lot better in WWE under Vince. You know what I mean? But Vince definitely saw him, and, you know, he made something out of Sheamus. Right? He truly did. Right? But I think if Vince was not in the book, and I think if Triple H was there, because again, Sheamus was a Triple H project. A lot of people don't know that. Or a lot of people seem to forget that he was a Triple H project. You know, I think he would have been in a much bigger position than what we've seen him in. Right? And I'm going to make a video today about my thoughts on WWE going into, I say, 2010 before 2015. Because I got a lot to say about that era in WWE. And it's not going to be fun. Anyway, guys, I'm about to be out. I'm going to holler at y'all tonight. Peace.